Hello, and welcome to Dolphin's Dive, the weekly strategically minded Handelabra stream hosted by Dolphin. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against that goal are not welcome and will not be tolerated. You can follow us at Handelabra Games on Twitch and Handelabra on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can follow me personally at LewDolphin21 on Twitter, and on Twitch and YouTube it's LewDolphin no digits. Sentinels of the Multiverse, One Deck Dungeon, Bottom of the Ninth, and Aeon's End are available on Steam, iOS, and Android devices, and Aeon's End is already up, but Spirit Island is also backed and will be coming out to such media eventually, and you can get the games and more info at Handelabra.com. Hello, and happy Thanksgiving post-miss, or whatever, the day after Thanksgiving. I guess I should more accurately say happy Black Friday or something, celebration of shopping, because Thanksgiving is about being thankful for the things you have so that on Black Friday you can go out and get more things. That's how I've always viewed it, is why is Black Friday a thing? The answer is retail, and the answer is capitalism, and the answer is because money. Well, it doesn't matter because I don't do Black Friday shopping. I don't really like that mentality of going out on Black Friday and getting trampled in stores. There's certainly digital sales you can take advantage of if you know where they are, but I don't really see the value in getting stuff that are on sale, because I'm very wary of sales to begin with anyway. The whole let's have an item that normally sells for $100 get marked up to $160 and then say that it's half off, so it's only $80. Yeah, no, I don't like that tactic. How often does it happen? I don't know, but I'm sure it does happen in certain shady stores. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Black Friday. We're here to talk about gaming. And I am here playing One Deck Dungeon with a new character who was released, I believe, 2 weeks ago. It's actually been a while since I've played One Deck Dungeon on stream. Actually, it's not even been that long of a time. It's been like 4 weeks. It's been a while because we had the Oblivion stream, and then I took a week off, and then I had Sentinels last week. So it's been a hot minute, but I'm back playing One Deck Dungeon. This week it will be a One Deck Dungeon and Aeon's End week for me, and it's fitting because both Aeon's End and One Deck Dungeon had a release of new characters in both of their games, and what happened is a crossover between the two games thanks to the Kickstarter for Aeon's End. And the crossover is Mist, who is also named Mist in Aeon's End, now is in One Deck Dungeon, and Jay, who is the mage in One Deck Dungeon, is also a character in Aeon's End, and we will play with both tonight. And by we, I mean I, because you've been probably playing it for weeks if you've had it, because it's been available for a couple weeks. But this is my first time playing her, and Mist is a mage. Has 1 strength, 2 agility, 4 mana, and 5 health. Heroic feat, roll any or all of your dice stored here. Store a heroic die. When you use a mana skill, you may store up to two dice at a time. Useful in combats and perils, but not bosses. And her starting skill, X mana cost, store a 3 strength or 3 agility here for every 2 mana spent, max 6, and replace this skill with Chaos Arc, which we can't see what Chaos Arc is until we prep. But it's like Fanatics, it's not like Divine Sacrifice, but, or whatever it is, Ages of Resurrection, where I believe that's her heroic feat, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, heroic feat is for rolling ones. Never mind, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a skill that gets replaced. And we won't be able to see it until it gets replaced, but it's quick to replace this one and will be replaced quite frequently. We'll just have to start by spending 6 mana here and storing some dice there. So I am playing in Phoenix's Den. I'm playing a solo Mist in Phoenix's Den for no real reason other than this is a bird and turkeys are birds. But yeah, all right, so we're playing here, and so the rules that we have, Sweltering Heat, Perils will have a 3 armor, Combats will have a 3 mana and 3 strength. Persistence, heroic dice cannot be placed in boxes with armor, and then additional stuff. And then on the 3rd floor, the terrifying floor, all threes rolled are immediately discarded. And then when we get to the boss, Damage is only dealt to the Phoenix if all skull boxes are covered, and in that case, only 1 damage is dealt, 0 otherwise. Which isn't really that much different than how I typically do boss fights in one deck dungeon, although I guess I've been very overpowered in most of my boss fights to where I don't have to make decisions about which boxes to not cover. But anyway, so we're not on floor 3, we're not on floor 2, so the only things we have to do are cover squares, and on the combats we have an extra mana and extra strength square, which is kind of bad when she starts with only 1 strength, but her prep skill could lead to the usage of a strength thing. Okay, so let's deposit some things. Holy crud, that was fast. I haven't changed these settings at all, have I? I mean, that looks super fast for me. Maybe it was just waiting for ages, and now it's like, all right, now we're ready to go. Let's pull some cards down. All right, by the way, I am actually playing in a hybrid dungeon, so it's both base game and Forest of Shadows, which means that poison rules are in play, and even more particularly, when you roll to survive a poison roll, you do not discard the poison token, so they will accumulate until you take damage or use a potion. Also, I have 0 potions because I'm playing on Fearless difficulty, which says you do not start with potion tokens. And furthermore, I have no progression on Mist because this is my first time playing her. So this is a base game run on Fearless in Phoenix's Den. Let's see how this goes. All right, so we start with Bear Traps, which is an agility-focused peril, which isn't too good, but it does give me mana, which is especially what we need. So even though I don't have the ability really, because there's a chance if I do it and I disarm them, there's a chance I could roll the 3 and the 6. If I don't roll a 3, I'm screwed. If I don't get a 6, then it doesn't matter. So I need to have 2 dice that are 3 or higher, and at least 1 is a 6. Chances of that happening actually is what? Like, you can do 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 5, 6, 4, 6, 3. So that's 7 out of 36. Less than a 1 out of 6 chance. So less than 16.7%? Slightly more than 16.7%. Math. If I run through, I will automatically fail. If I automatically fail with the run through path, I will spend 2 fewer time, but take 1 additional damage, and I think the damage is not worth it. So I think I'm going to go and disarm them, knowing full well that I'm going to be taking damage for it. But I think the extra mana die might help. Well, the good news is I have a 6. The bad news is I have a 1. So there's nothing I can do. I'll just take the damage. There was no reason to cover the armor square. It wouldn't do anything. All right, was that damage worth it? We'll see if I die in this next encounter. It's another peril. Stabilize Aura is a mana type ability, or mana item, so that is, or a mana path, so I could do that. Grab the scone would be impossible, and I would die. The invulnerability potion is to prevent 2 hearts of damage, which is kind of boring, honestly. I mean, with the conjunction of cure, I would also heal 1 and prevent 2, but that's kind of just like the base game potion, really. The item, I'm at my item limit, but it would give me an agility die, which I don't really know. I mean, prep is not something that I could consistently activate, I guess. Even if I have the mana dice, because it's only during combats and it gets replaced with Chaos Arc. But anyway, we're going to certainly stabilize the aura. This should be doable. And it's not. And game over. Well, I didn't roll a 3, period, so I can't do anything there. And the chances of not rolling a 3 when you have 5 dice are astronomically low. How low is that, actually? Let's go ahead and take a look. Because you have to roll a 1 or a 2, which is a 33% chance. Actually, I'm going to do this wrong if I do it that way. No, it's 1 minus... No, I'm not doing that right either. It's 2... Is it 2/6 to the 5th? This is a 0.4% chance of not getting a 3. Great. Well, yeah, because it had to be 1 or 2, 1 or 2, 1 or 2. Yeah, so those were the choices. Yeah. But even in addition, even if this were a 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, I'd only have half of the square covered. All right, so that was Myst. Thank you for watching, everyone. Let me just refresh this just in case I don't see any chat activity, which could sometimes mean my chat is frozen, as I've learned. All right, so my first attempt with Myst, and I failed miserably. And now my statistics screen will show Myst record is 0 to 1. All right, well, oh, and also global stats. More losses for Myst than victories, but I think that's true for most heroes, most mages, most heroines. Hi, Triraptor. I'm just gonna hit try again, and we'll try again. This time the 2 left doors are the forest doors. This time we have a peril. It's the same one that killed me last time, but the plot twist is it can't kill me again because I can't take enough damage. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what happens if you roll successfully. Which was rather a presumptuous thing to assume, but we did it anyway. Now, that agility item is actually very tempting, but the experience is even more tempting because that puts me more than halfway towards level 2, and any experience at that point will take me to level 2, which gives me a heroic die. I'm actually going to do that. I don't normally go for experience straight away, but that extra heroic die could help. Disenchant, I could do. And a skill, spend an agility to roll 2 strengths. Would basically convert an agility die to 2 strengths, but I want that experience. That mana item is not any better than a heroic die, really, so go ahead and disenchant, roll the dice. There we go. See, this is what a typical roll is supposed to be like, is you get at least 1 3. Okay. We've leveled up. We've also gotten a potion. So now that heroic die adds to these totals, so did we actually face bear traps previously as well? Because, I mean, this looks similar. Yeah, I think that I remember just talking about 2 agility. Anyway, this, like, 2 of the 3 cards we've seen are duplicates. I seem to be always going for the 3-time route, but yeah, that's fine. We at least got a 6, or at least a 3 is more important. And I will take the mana item there. All right, are we going to get to combat so I can actually use prep? The answer is yes, the Ice Elemental, which is not the best one. I have no skills. I have an extra mana die. And I need to get 3, 4, 5, 6s and whatnot. Enough damage here to one-hit KO. Oh, look, and it's another encounter where I'm going to spend 3 time if I fight it. We're going to spend half the time in the first 4 doors. Okay, well, the problem is I need to get that armor covered, which I only have 1 strength die, and I have 2 agilities, which could be sacrificed because there's no agility here. Prep is going to store dice there, but I'm not sure how we're going to claim them because we don't know what Chaos Arc is yet. And you could know what Chaos Arc is based on your previous experiences with Myst or by seeing the Candelabra live stream where they have done Myst, but I don't remember what it was. I'm going to guess it's spend mana to use a die here. I believe it's, I'm going to say it's either spend mana to use a die or increase dice is what I believe it is. But we won't find out for a while. So the biggest damages, like the strength squares are just time. I guess that's not a big deal, even though I've spent a bajillion times. But any mana I get can help with covering up the damaging parts, and all we just need to do is cover the 11. So let's go ahead and gamble, because that worked out so well last game. I got a 6 and a 5, and I have numbers. Let's just convert those prematurely. Cover the 6, the 5, and I can't cover the 4. The 4 would actually be worse of a consequence than the 5. I can cover the 3 as well. And I can store a die here for every 2 mana spent and replace the skill with Chaos Arc. I'm going to go ahead and spend it with these 2 singletons because they don't serve any other purpose right now. Let's store a 3 strength. And now we have Chaos Arc. Add 3 to each dice stored here, or gain the dice stored here and replace with Prep, which cannot be used this turn. Oh, but I could gain this. Oh. Does that change things? Also, I got the heroic die there, which is useful. Okay, so this can be used right now. Prep cannot be used this turn. This would give me a strength 3, or I can turn it into a strength 6. But I think the strength 3 is a little more important because I can use that right now. So now I'm only taking 1 damage and spending 2 time, and I think that's fine. So this flurry skill is spend 2 strength, get a strength back, but roll 2 agilities. Not really worth it. Experience here would put me halfway to level 3, but level 3 would just let me equip more items and skills and give me a potion token. I'm just gonna take the item. Alright. I still think that flame is way super fast right now. I know that's an animation speed setting I could change. I'm just admiring the speed. Okay, arrow ball, magic shield, or rush through to get strength item, or spend an agility to prevent a heart in a boss fight, prevent 2 hearts. And this wouldn't really help me too much against the Phoenix, although I guess it would mean I wouldn't have to worry about covering the 17. I could just put the agility die there, take 1 heart of damage, and be on my merry way. Whereas I called the potion boring, I think the dodge skill is actually kind of cool because it's not limited use, and unlike potions, you can use it each fight, or at least each combat, and you can spend your agility die, doesn't matter which one, so basically your worst agility die, and prevent a heart, which could be sometimes a single square that has a heart on it, and basically you don't have to cover that square, period. Is that better than the strength item? I only have 1 strength die. I think the strength die is more important. So do I want to rush through or magic shield? And do I want to use focus? I don't generally play single hero games too often, so I'm not used to this storing up to 2 dice at a time clause, but we do have that here, so I don't have to use this die. Oftentimes in a 2-player game, you can only store 1 die here at a time, and basically when you store it, you have to use it, otherwise you can't store another one. So like, if your heroic feat is store a heroic die here when you enter a 4 experience door, well, you don't know when your next 4 experience door is going to be, so you would want to use your heroic die ASAP. With Mist, it's a little different because you can obviously understand that you might not be using a mana skill per se. Like in this fight, if I rush through, I would not be using prep. Actually, I can't use prep, period, because it's a combat skill. But if it were also a peril skill, then you would only be able to use it if you could use mana dice. That's how those generally work. Anyway, rambling aside, if I magic shield, I spend a time, but it's essentially trivial. As we know, 3 and a 6 is not that hard to do with 5 dice. But if I rush through, I have 3 agility. I have heroic dice, so that's 4 dice. If one of them is a 3, then I have to get 11 with 3 dice, which is an average of 3.67. The average die roll is a 3.5. So that'd be a little trickier, but if I succeed, I don't spend that extra time. If I don't succeed, I take 3 damage and to spend 2 time, so I spend more time. And as a mathematician, if you haven't noticed by now, I'm a mathematician. There's a lot of like numbers that I'm just spitting out right now, and a lot of it is things I can just immediately know, like the average die roll being 3.5 is because 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 divided by 6, which is the mean, is 3.5. That's the average die roll, is 3.5. That's also called expected value. And when it comes to expected value, there's more complicated determinations you could make. Like if I do rush through and I spend my 3 agilities, or use my 3 agilities and 1 heroic, so I have 4 dice, there is a certain probability that I will succeed and a certain probability that I won't succeed. We could determine my expectation for how much damage I could take if I rush through by multiplying my probability of failure by 3 hearts. So if my probability of failure was 40%, then 40% times 3 would be 1.2. So if I'm doing rush through, I'm essentially saying I'm going to take 1.2 damage on average. Now, if the probability of failure for Magic Shield was like 5%, and I'm taking 2 damage 5% of the time, then on average, I'm, taking 0.1 damage. So those are completely made up numbers, but it's to illustrate, like, if this is a 0.1 damage versus a 1.2 damage, is the one-time gamble worth it? And as Jertel says, no, it's not. So I'm just rambling because I want to be an educator and, inform you how stuff works. I think Magic Shield is the way to go. I just wanted to talk about probability, which is a very vast subject. All right, so we succeeded. We spent the time. I'm taking the item. And now the Razorbark, who exiles dice, which is tragic and very worrisome, except Flame Walk is an impressive skill. Gain 5 strength, 6 agility, 4 mana at the cost of 6 mana, which could be with any number of dice that total to 6 at least. 6 mana dice, that is. So you would basically spend 2 mana. Like, with an upfront of 6, you would spend 2 and gain all those dice. That is a really good skill. The problem, of course, is that I have to beat the Razorbark, which I will not die because I'll only have taken 4 damage at worst, but I should be able to cover that 3 and the 4 at the very least. In fact, like, this encounter is not even that dire. Like, it's not even that hard, really. I guess the only issue is that we'd be exiling heroic and strength dice. But we don't need strength as much because we don't need as many strength dice because we don't have as many in our item pool. And heroic dice are going to be more of an issue, but I can live with that. So I will enter. I will exile. You could exile the focus die if you really wanted to. I'm not going to because I will want to use the focus die in this fight, just to give me the extra edge. And I'll also have my base heroic die plus my base dice, and 5 of them are 1s and 2 more of them are 2s. Well, that is especially tragic. So we could prep, and as we learned, prep replaces it and replaces it with Chaos Arc, which is an auto skill that can, or a free skill, I guess, that allows me to gain the 3s or turn them into 6s. In particular, it would let me get a strength 3, which could cover that, and that would be it. My agility is so atrocious. In fact, all of my dice are atrocious. I don't even have a good number to cover the 3 with there. I don't have any strengths here that will work. Can I cover the 15? With that, I can. Is it better to cover the 15 or something else? I could cover a 4 with that heroic, and this 5 and this 4 could turn into a heroic. but that wouldn't really do me any good either. And I could use those in prep as well, but that's not going to help me here because I can't improve those. Now I can use aid. I could use aid on the prepped thing. I don't think that's going to be, well, I mean, so I can convert these to a heroic, and I can throw that heroic into prep, and I can throw those into prep as well. So now we have 4 in prep, and I can't do any better than that. So if I now replace them with 2 strengths, also that sound effect is from Aeon's End, I can gain the 3 strengths, and I can use one of them, and I can increase one of them to a 4, and heal, which will take this heart away, and avoid spending a time, which isn't really that awful. But oh, that should not be there actually. That really should be on that 15 because that's a less of a consequence. And if I do that, I can also cover that square, which will avoid a time or a damage. So I will heal, which will lower my damage by, I'll heal 1, prevent 1. That would be 2 damage saved. Is that worth it? When I only have 1 potion token, this is kind of like if I had more potions, I would freely do this. If I were in a regular, like full progression thing where I have like when I use a potion also heal 1, I would say I would wait until I would have the full effect. But this is the full effect. But this is my only potion token, so it's a big thought. But I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Increase that. And I don't think the other ones matter. Could I increase the heroic? Would that be more useful? That would lower that down to 11, but it would allow me to move the 2 out, I guess, if I did another heroic, but it wouldn't really do anything at all. So yeah, I don't think it really matters what the other die is, but do that. End the encounter, take poison, spend time, get flame walk, and now everything is right in the world. Except I can't use flame walk in this. Alright, so the skill, gain a agility 3 for free, useful everywhere. But it requires the strength route, which I would have the 2+1, cover the 3, and then have to roll an average of 4.5 with the other 2 dice. That is a tall order. Disarm for the item. I'm at my item limit. And I probably don't want to ditch the agility or strength dice since we have so few of them, even though I have flame walk. But I could just take the experience. I could disarm, but also take the skill. That'd be so much better, but I can't. Well, you tried to be an atrocious roll, but I got a 5 and a 6 out of it, so you couldn't be an atrocious roll. So, what was this? This was mana potion. Whereas this was, the other one was yeah. I will convert this, actually doesn't matter where it goes, I guess, because it's not going to shuffle back into the deck until round 3. Wraith. Before the encounter, convert 1 item to experience. Lots of strength, lots of agility, but it is combat, so we could use Flame Walk. We'd be converting an item. Could convert the mana. Meow. Hello, DF. The DFM. I can't even figure out how to pronounce that. Defmushfinch. I don't know. There's no vowels in there. That makes it hard. All right, I'm gonna do that. Convert the mana. Do I want to use the heroic? I'm gonna use it. We don't have that many strength still, even with Flame Walk. If I use Flame Walk, because I have to spend for Flame Walk. Anything useful here? I have 551. That could convert to a heroic. My strengths aren't too good, but I could throw stuff there. What are Val's funny this? Vowels are a letter in the alphabet. All right, we have a 6. We need to cover that 5. Flamewalk could do that. I have a heroic here, I guess. That could also go with the 6 there. But let's see, that does that. That would cover that. That would cover that. That would cover that. That would cover that. So I just need to cover the 9, which could be done with this. Or this actually would be a little better because I could save that for Flamewalk, which I do need. And it says store a heroic die here when you use a mana skill. It doesn't say once per battle. So using multiple mana skills will make focus really charged up, is what I'm hearing. So we can prep. We've covered everything, so now I can prep. Is there a way I can prep with a 6 to get maximum bang for my buck? I would have to sacrifice one of these, which actually it's the end of the round, right? Or end of the floor. So I don't need to cover that 3. This 6 is weird because I can't do anything with it. But if I get to convert that to heroic and I insert it there, then I can prep and let's take a look at Phoenix's then. I'm going to need agility on the 2nd floor. So one of each at least, and then I guess a strength. And then I can add 3 to each die. Make some 6s. So this skill is very powerful. By virtue of the fact that this gives me 6s next turn. But I can't use prep this turn, so it's every other round I can get 6s if I do this. If I can afford it. So that's cool. Also, the 2nd focus die was added, so that's cool. So I'll spend 2 time, but I will have the ability to descend before the start of the turn because we'll be at the end of the floor. Let's take the item. Even though it's a mana skill, and mana skills are great for charging up focus. Actually, is it? It's just a combat. Okay. Yeah, and we'll descend. All right, we're now on floor 2. And we have bunches of 6s here. All right, so here's where it gets scary with the poison because I need a 3 or higher to succeed. And if I fail, I remove a poison from the hero and add 2 damage. But if I succeed, no effect because of the hybrid deck. So I succeeded, and I still have 2 poisons. So the only way to remove poison is to take the damage or to heal. Or you just ignore it and hope that you never roll less than a 3. All right, Dire Boar. Cheap vowels for Black Friday. Vowels are on sale, guys. Okay, so Chaos Arc. Now we have 6s that we can use if we need to. Flamewalk also gives me a bunch of stuff. And really, if I'm going to use Flamewalk, I would absolutely be using the focus die. In fact, I should use at least one focus die regardless, because yeah, One Deck Dungeon is on sale. You should check them out. We're definitely gonna enter. Dice may not be re-rolled, but we don't have re-roll skills, so it doesn't matter. Dice may not be increased. Actually, I guess that would also influence Chaos Arc if we had used prep and then Chaos Arc the same turn. So let's take 1. I think I should only need the 1, which rolls a 1, so that's great. And then dice there. We don't need mana as much in this fight. I'm going to try to keep the mana 6, I would say. We have great strength. We have great agility. We might not even need anything. Although part of that was from Flame Walk, but we can preserve Chaos Arc as long as this goes well, and we should be able to go well because of this roll. Yeah. We didn't even need the focus die, but we couldn't store more than one anyway. Exploit weakness, spend an agility, gain a heroic 4, only good for combats. Strength item, we're at our item limit. I guess I'll go for the agility skill. Spiked log. Hey, it's a mana skill. I cannot use it in this fight. I can't use manas in this fight. I can't use Chaos Arc in this fight. Clobber logs, dodge logs. We have the same number of dice for each. We probably will still be using focus though, because this is tough. With 3+1 dice, it's not too likely I'll succeed. But if I get an extra die, it should help. All right, that covers the armor. So everything else is damage reduction, and we have enough. Oh, right. We cannot place heroic dice on boxes with armor. Okay, so it's not as straightforward as once thought. In fact, it's not as good as once thought because I have to put the strength 6 there. All right, so we're taking a damage in a time that is better than 3 damage in 1 time, and there's no other way we could do that, right? Because I can put these here. I can move the 3 out, but I can't cover the 5 with that. I can move the 5 out, but I can't cover the 6 with that. I don't have aid to help me, so that has to happen. Static Burst. Gain a Strength 4 and Agility 4, and then increase one of your dice by 1. That is a really good skill in general, but it's also a mana skill, which makes me happy. The Spike Along. Add poison to the consequences for each 5 die on this card. Well, we should absolutely do this. We should absolutely focus because we'll have lots of mana usage, because the only mana use here is in the combat side, or on the dungeon side. All right, so the armor is on the agility. We have terrible agility, but I can use exploit weakness to take my worst agility and turn it into a 4. So that's good. Static Burst could also get me good agility and also increases a die by 1, and that could increase that agility to a 3 to cover that box, because we are lacking in 3s here. But I might want to... maybe not, because I don't actually have 5s. And I'm not going to get 5s off of Flame Walk for the agility, because this 6 covers that strength 5. This 4 covers that strength 4. The agilities are whatever, the mana's whatever. But if I do this and I increase that agility by 1... then I can cover the armor, and now I can start covering these boxes. And I will Flame Walk at some point, and I guess I'm just going to spend my mana 6 on that. I like that that is flashing. That mana box is still flashing because it thinks I'm still holding a mana die. That's a bug. Alright, that covers all the boxes. And I still have my Chaos Arc stuff. So now that we've gotten that set up, now we're like very confident in fights. Alright, item limit, skill limit. Now, Finesse would be like Exploit Weakness, except it replaces the Heroic 4 with an Agility 4, but also gives me a Strength roll. So the heroic use is nice because it could be used anywhere, but the strength roll and heroic 4, or agility 4, might be a little better. The other thing to consider is experience counts. This is 3 experience, this is 3 experience, so it's equal on both fronts. So that's not really any better or worse. I don't know. I think volume of dice might be a little more important than a heroic 4. Because especially between our mana and Flamewalk and Chaos Arc, we don't really need to worry too much about getting anything else, but getting more dice at least can cover up the mini squares if we need. All right, the Goblin. Spend time for each closed door. This was the second door, I think. So if I start this, I'll spend 2 time. If I flee and come back, I'll spend 2 times. So it's equal either way. Bye, Triraptor. I think I'm just gonna fight it. Like, it could be better to flee and come back when I'm more set up, but I'm like very set up, so it doesn't matter. All right, and yeah, we'll just use those because I will definitely be getting them back like easily. Wow, that was a terrible roll. All right, take my worst agility, turn it into a 4, and give me a strength roll. What else? I don't have a mana 6, which is unfortunate. Static Burst could increase this heroic by 1, which could cover that mana 6. And that requires me to spend 4 mana there. I'd also have to spend 6 mana on Flamewalk. Now give me 4 mana back, and that 4 mana can go on to 3. I can't really fathom why I wouldn't want to do those when I would get Strength 4, Agility 4, Strength 5, Agility 6, and a die increase. So the next question is, what die do we want to increase? Well, the Strength is fine even without Static Burst or Flamewalk. The Agility, we're getting an Agility 6 that can cover the 5. We're getting an Agility 4 that can cover one of the 3s. We have a 4 here, so we just have to cover one more 3, so we have to increase that Agility 2 by 1. We have to discard a die. Well, and it's a strength die, but that 2 isn't doing anything. Actually, neither of those were doing anything. And that 5 is also not doing anything. I could have just not discarded. It wouldn't have mattered. But, oh, right. I was going to increase that 5 by 1, wasn't I? That was part of the plan, was to increase that 5 by 1. I forgot that. I wanted to increase that 5 by 1. So, I guess then I could use up the strength there. So how was this working again? We were getting... Let's see. That was going into the 6. That was going into the 4. That was using up one of the 3s that could have gone into the agility, but I think still a little better to use those at least to charge up focus, if nothing else. So yeah, those strengths go there. That agility, or that heroic goes there. That doesn't need to go there. This is being saved for the 6. So this has to be increased by static bursts. So I'm still going to get the agilities I need from static burst and flamewalk. I don't need to worry about that at all. I don't know why I was trying to increase something else by 1. I was being dumb. Now I could have converted, I guess, one of those to heroic if I needed to maximize my dice usage, but I don't need to. So we got the 2 on focus. Chaos Arc is still set up. All this is great. So I can level up off of this. I don't want a mana item because I still like having extra non-mana dice. Spend a strength die, roll a strength die, increase a die by 1. Basically, re-roll your worst strength and increase any die by 1, but can be used in perils. I think finesse is still better, and I'm not ditching those mana skills. So it's the experience that levels me up. And because poison is more permanent, I'm going to heal the poison. Now I need to roll a 2 or higher to succeed, and I rolled a 2. All right, success. Now, because this is a hybrid deck, we can actually minimize the failure of poison by opening forest doors and leaving them open because they're guaranteed to have a leaf symbol on them. Because a hybrid deck takes doors that are leaf symbols. And those lower dice roll requirements by 1. Spend time for each 1 rolled. Well, I mean, at this point, we can very easily do these fights, I think, because of how we've gotten ourselves set up. So might as well just use all of my heroics. Yes, I spend time. No, I don't care. And then I spend 2 more time, but I still don't care. My worst agility can be placed here, but my worst agility is a 4. I could place a heroic there, though, but let's first think about where it could be better used. My agility is already good, so that's fine. My strength isn't as good, and I don't have an agility or a heroic 6 this time to cover that 6, so I'd have to probably increase this die by 1 or convert these for whatever reason into a heroic, but that doesn't seem wise. These agilities can't do anything other than perhaps go into finesse. But we could already put that 1 in finesse. So I'm guessing these should turn into a heroic, and then I could put one of them on a 5. Or that on a 5, I guess. But we also have these heroics here, and I mean, we're getting a 4 and a 5 off of Static Burst and Flame Walk. So I don't need to place those there. I need to place the mana. I also need to use the mana. I'm going to get a 4 back from Flame Walk. Now, why do I have my heroics here? They should not be there. Why is this 4 here, though? No, that 5 needs to go there. That 4 needs to go there. And we're increasing this off of Static Burst. So let's go ahead and do that, because that's a known. Oh, yeah, I also can't put heroics on armor boxes. Yeah. But that's not a consideration right now. Why did that not add a die there? Oh, because all of these are used up. Oh. We can't put them there because we have too many heroic dice in use. Oh, that changes everything. Everything so much. Does it really matter, though? Well, it kind of does, doesn't it? Let's see. How could I perhaps... If I spend this on finesse, I would be able to get rid of it. And I could claim it for focus. The slight issue is if I roll a 1 off the strength die, I spend a time. Which isn't really too big of a deal because I am ahead of where I want to be. I'm at level 3 on floor 2, which is my general goal. Why was I not placing that? Oh, I just increased it. That's what happened. Okay, so that 6 is definitely going there. I still have 2 mana 6s. I could maybe fund this with Flamewalk if I do that, can I? And then I'd have lots of heroics free. Yeah, and that would work too. There we go. All right. Everything's covered and no extra time was spent. And we're back at 2 heroics there. Man, focus is so strong. Because normally, like, you can only store a die 1 at a time, but oh man, we can do this twice per game or twice per round. I guess like you have to have extra mana skills, but even with Chaos Arc, you could prep and then use the 3s and then be ready to go again. Okay. Well, Armor Crush seems amazingly weak when we can't place heroics on armor boxes. And the Phoenix does not have any armor boxes, so we're not getting that skill. So I guess I'm gonna take a mana die. Because more options. Alright, so this is a forest door, and you can see next to the poison cloud there's the leaf symbol. So if I were to flee and then explore and do a poison roll, that leaf would lower my roll requirement by 1, so I'd have to roll a 1 or higher to succeed, but I don't need to do that. Alright, so this is slightly different. I can't use all of these skills, so I do have to think a little bit, but contain should be pretty straightforward. I think I should just go for it, so I'll go for it. Oh, I could, yeah, let's not do that. I don't need that. I can't use any of my mana skills anyway. Is that enough? That's enough. All right, that's good. And that is a mana skill that also can work in perils, and that will power up focus. So I will do that. Spend 3 mana to roll a mana die. And look, it's a peril, except I can't use it. Never mind. Can't use spark when there's no mana things here. Okay, the luck potion, I don't want that. The item is agility. We could dodge vines, maybe, and still do it. I would need to probably use a focus die here, which is fine. We have plenty. Can't put that in the armor box, but that is good. I have something for the armor box, but it's a 6. And I have something for that, and I still have enough for that, even though it's an amazing overwaste on the singletons. But that's fine. Okay, so I might as well open this door. There's no penalty for doing so. It's a peril, force wall. Crushing fist. Oh my gosh. That is better than spark. It's better than anything. Well, flame walk is still really good, but crushing fist, holy smokes. That alleviates my need for strength dice. Actually, crushing fist with flame walk means that I am set on the strength side of things for the boss, and I can ditch my strength items because I don't need those anymore. So I am going to do that, and I'm going to blast through, and I'm going to be using Spark, which requires a cost of 3 mana. So I will be getting a mana back for focus, or heroic back for focus, but can I do this without using focus? I mean, even if I roll all 1s, because this game hates me, I could fund Spark, which will allow me to roll something that will allow me to be placed on the armor, and then I still wouldn't be able to cover anything else, so I guess I would die, but man, I feel so overpowered now. Let's go ahead and use this. Get a 6. Okay, that's strong. And then basically have no need to do Spark at all, but I'll just put all my 1s there because it's still a sum of 3. And that stores a heroic there. Great. And now I can power the 14. And that did require that heroic roll, after all, so that was good. Okay, but Crushing Fist, absolutely. What do we want to replace it with? Static Burst is great, Flame Walk is great, Finesse, and Spark. I mean, I guess Finesse isn't as useful. It's just gain a heroic, gain an Agility 4 and a Strength roll versus get 2 Strength 6s, and I don't need Strength dice anymore, so this will just basically get me an Agility 4. So I'm going to replace that. Alright, Descend. I don't think we used Chaos Arc on this floor at all. We still have it in our back pocket. Alright, now our goal is to get to level 4 and get great skills. Ooh, Heroism. That is a great potion. I want that. We are going to be spending time for each skill we use, so actually it might not be as straightforward of a fight as it has been, but even with that, we should be fine. So the thing I have to be careful with is the fact that mana into Crushing Fist and Static Burst does not come back. So I can't just say, oh, I'm going to use Static Burst and Crushing Fist, except I still have to cover the 3, 3, 4, 5. So that isn't as immediate. I could use my Heroic Feat. I would like to use it and get it back, but I won't be able to just use it and get it back right away. And we need the agilities. We absolutely need the agilities. So let's enter. We'll enter. We're definitely going to do that. I don't think we're not going to fight it. And then let's see what we can cover with what we have right now. Oh, yeah. By the way, we're on floor 3, so all 3s are discarded. Okay. Forgot about that. But let's see. We need to cover the agility, and we kind of have a bad roll for that. We should not use Spark because that will discard the die, like, a 6th of the time. So that's not a good idea. The Chaos Arc would give me a bunch of 6s, which would help with covering the squares. And other than... Let's see. That would give me enough dice to cover the 10 armor. It would not give me anything to cover the 3 armor. And if I use it, then I spend a time, but that's fine because we're gonna have to spend time somewhere. Like, the time I spend would cover a square that spends time, so that would be fine. Because there's no other places to use these dice other than skills. Those would have to go there. So we're going to be using some combination of skills at this point. The problem is that I would like to be able to use... I could use Flame Walk with this 6, I guess. And then I'd have a 4 that can cover the square it was going to cover. A Strength 5 that covers this, and an Agility 6 that would go into the armor box. Now I would still need something to cover the Agility 3 with, but Chaos Arc would do that for me. So those 2 skills would give me the dice that I need. Now, is there another way to do this that only uses 1 skill? In which case I would spend 1 fewer time. I feel like not really, because these ones are bogus and I can't use them anywhere. I could put... I can't put that in the... I actually can't put those in the armor boxes anyway. So... Like, the strength I have on hand is already covering as much as it can. And the mana I have covers everything, and the heroic 5 I have. And I don't think using that elsewhere would be useful. I guess that's really the only way I can do it. The other consideration is, can I instead use a mana skill and get an extra thing on my focus? The problem is my mana is very tight. Like, it's like these numbers are very small, but my dice are so limited that I can't just really do what I want. Like, I want to use Static Burst, but I need to spend 4 mana on it. And if I use this 4 mana, I get a Strength 4, Agility 4, increase the die by 1, and then I will not have a replacement for this 4. Or will I? Well, the Strength 4 goes there, the Agility 4 goes there, and then I wouldn't have the replacement for this 4. And if I use Spark, I don't need to use Spark though, and then there's a chance I would discard the die. And if I use Crushing Fist, I get 2 Strength 6s, but then I don't have a 6 to cover that. Or I don't have a mana die to cover that, and I could convert those 2 strength 6s into a heroic 6, but then I still have the same problem. So I guess I have to use Chaos Arc. So now it's gone. Those dice are gone. But I can now cover the boxes and continue on. I could still use a skill to get a heroic die, but I would spend time, so I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to go and take Heroism. It is a really great potion. Heroism, I believe, is... Well, Aid can be used on heroic dice. Heroism cannot be used on heroic dice, but it changes dice to 6s, whereas Aid only increases by 1. So Heroism is probably sort of better than Aid. Except it can't increase heroic dice. Despite the name Heroism, I cannot increase heroic dice. Alright, this is not a mana type encounter, so that sucks. Balanced attack, spend 2 strength, roll 3 dice. That's not good when I'm going to discard one of them. Agility die, I kind of want more mana dice, but I guess I could replace a strength die with an agility because we don't need strength as much because we're set for the boss. So I guess I'm going to do that. I think I can run through, especially if I take that die, even though it's not coming back. That's fine. We'll just have a round without focus. And then discard that die because clearly that was a good idea. I can use the mana skill. Well, I'm actually curious. I'm gonna undo this, but I want to play the die there, and it doesn't give me a heroic die in the focus, even though technically I used the mana skill. Oh well. All right. So the small problem is I have to cover the 3 with the 6. Because I can't cover it with this 4 because it's heroic. So that kind of sucks. I can cover the 10 with the 4 and the 6, but then I can't cover the 5 or the 6. I can cover the 6, but not anything else. I can cover the 5 and nothing else. And I think both of those are strictly worse, right? That's 132, 231, 103. I guess I'd be spending more time if I do this, but that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to take the agility item. I'm going to replace the higher experience strength. Rune puzzle. Well, that I can use spark with this. Even though I might discard the die. 3 is discarded. That's not ideal. Let's try it with those dice because they're not doing anything else right now. That turns to a 3 that doesn't get discarded because rules, but that still can't help me out with anything else. So I'm gonna have to end the encounter there. I could use Heroism, but I'm saving those for the boss. So that is strength. I have strength that is equal experience. I'm just gonna take the experience. All right, one more experience and I will level up. If any boxes are empty, spend 2 time. Okay. I will definitely be using mana skills now that we can do them more freely. 3s are discarded. Most of my mana dice are discarded. That's tragic. So now what? Oh, we probably have to prep at some point too. Although I guess we're almost at the boss. Although this can be used on the boss. Focus can't be used on the boss. Okay, so Spark is not something I want to try to do unless I have some reason to. Those can't go on the mana squares. Flame Walk would give me something that can go on a mana square. Let's, I guess, use that for now. Let's figure out later if I have a better idea. Feels like such a massive waste to do that, but I'm so limited by the fact that only mana dice can go on armor mana boxes, so I can't use these skills unless I use heroics for them. But we can put heroics on any of these boxes now. We can also Crushing Fist to get 2 Strength 6s. We can convert these to a Heroic 6 and then Crushing Fist, essentially to convert the Agility 6s into Strength 6s. That's a thought. We also have Static Burst, which requires me to spend 4 mana, which will give me a Strength 4 and Agility 4, and it increase the die by 1. And we also have Spark, if I can somehow finagle that, but I don't think there's a good way to. If I spend this Heroic 5 on Static Burst, I would be able to convert the Agility 4 and the Agility 6 into a Heroic 3 that could go into that. It could also cover that, although Static Burst would also do it. We're going to be spending lots of time in this fight, I think. There's no getting around that. So let's go ahead and convert these to Heroic, place in Crushing Fist. Then Static Burst. Increase that by 1. Convert to a Heroic and put on that. So now we spent 6 time, so the floor will end. But I won't take any damage, and I will level up, and we'll fight the boss at level 4. There are uncovered boxes. Oh, actually, yeah, I could cover that 3. It's not going to do anything different, though. Oh, yeah, a box was empty. Okay, so I guess it did do something different. It spent 2 fewer time. Actually, it didn't matter. Okay, item limit. Those are all 2s, and there's no reason to try to... Like, unless I want to swap for more agility. Like, our strength between Flame Walk and Crushing Fist is fine, right? So I can replace the strength item with agility, because I do need more agility. But alright, now we're on the boss. That's good news. We don't have focus anymore, but we can still prep if we have enough mana to do so. Oh boy, that is a terrible, terrible roll. Well, the ones I'm looking at. I'm not looking at anything else. So we need to Crushing Fist and Flame Walk in order to fund all the 5s, unless I want to not use one of them and use that instead. But we are kind of limited by the fact that we don't have any other 5s or 6s here. I think this 6 has to go on the mana square. Unless I could increase something by 1 to great effect. I can Spark to roll and maybe succeed for a good roll. I can also Heroism, and we do have 3 potions. Okay, so I have 2 rounds here, right? So if I can cover all the squares in 2 rounds, then I'm good. So I can use Heroism an average of 1.5 per round. So that's good. So how do we want to do this then? Do I want to spend these into Spark? Or do I want to save those for funding? Like, this could sum to 4. But then I don't have a means of getting to 6 easily. This would give me 6. This would give me 4. The other problem is I'm not getting enough mana now for up there. Oh, but I could Flame Walk. But yeah, I'd basically not be covering the 17 at all if I go this route. Let's see, what is my agility doing? My agility currently needs that, but I'm going to be getting a 6, but that's going to go on the agility box. But right now, everything else set aside, we have the agility done. Crushing Fist and Flame Walk covers the 5s, and Flame Walk also covers that 5 there. Yeah, increase it. Yeah, okay. So can I also finagle the mana 17 out of this, though? Well, the problem is that I'm spending 12 mana, getting 4 back. even if I used Spark, like if I put, like dice I put into Spark are not going to necessarily go into the skills as is. Like if I put this 3 in there and this 3 becomes a 6, what does that change? Like if that's now a 6, it doesn't really change anything. It gives me 3 mana. I could heroism them up to make 12s, but that doesn't really help. I think I'm going to have to just take the damage, but I'm at 2. I can take 3 points of damage easily. So let's then just do this the way we were going to. Like, the most important thing, other than survival, is covering up all the skulls so that we do 1 damage to the boss. So, yeah, I guess I could go ahead and accept that round. So I can take this 4 now that's not doing anything and put it into prep. And what do I want to prep? Well, I wish I could prep mana, but I can't. If I prep 2 strength 6s, then I don't have to spend 6 mana next round. If I prep a strength 6 and an agility 6, I don't have to use flame walk, but then I don't get 4 mana back. If I prep 2 agility 6s, I could still use flame walk and crushing fist and get what I need for the strength. And then I would basically have the agility fully set up, and then I could maybe have the mana next time as well. Like, I wouldn't need to use the heroics on the agility at all. So there's kind of a lot of pros and cons with either of those. But 2 strength 6s would save me mana 6 next round, for sure. 2 agility 6s might save me the heroics, which might not total a 6. A strength and an agility would mean I wouldn't use flame walk, but flame walk's actually cheap. So I guess the safest route is 2 strength 6s. Like, these will turn into 3s, but then I can use Chaos Arc to increase them to 6s. So now I have the 6s. And I still have 3 uses of heroism, if that can help. And oh boy, did I not need agility this time. Actually, do I not need anything this time? I don't need the strength skills, and I don't need the agility skills. That's kind of nuts. I can do that, and that covers all the skulls. Then I can cover the mana, except I'm a little short. So what could we do to finagle that at this point? If I put this into Spark, I need to get a 3 or higher out of Spark. So let's start there. Well, that didn't do it. Okay. Flame Walk would lose totals, and Static Burst and Crushing Fist would lose totals. I have an excess here though, right? So I can take a 6 out of there. Those are kind of excess, I guess. But that agility 6 by itself is not doing anything, so I mean, yes, I know what to do, by the way. The answer is heroism. I just wanted to try to avoid using potions for no reason, but whatever. Let's just do it. End the round. Succeed. All right. We have succeeded. We have defeated the turkey. And now I have 12 squares. All right. Well, I feel like I need to start each game with a mana skill in order to fund focus. And I would rather put these in the squares. I don't know that 1 extra health will make it or break it. So I'm just going to put the others into here. Like, I can't even get the 1 extra health this time anyway. So I'm just going to put those 2 squares there. See, this board was blank, and now it's starting to fill up. It's the beginning of progression. Okay, so that's done. Now let's just take a sneak peek. I'm gonna move on to Aeon's End next. I want to take a sneak peek at the 2-player version of Mist. So subtract 1 from each of the totals. She has 3 HP? That's unusual. Oh, I guess not. Rogue has 3 HP. But doesn't Rogue innately have 1 less HP? No. Oh, wait, no. Is it that? No, she does have an extra health. Oh. She has 3 HP. I thought that these heroes... I guess not. Or is it just by virtue of playing with Mist that HP is subtracted? No. Well, Warrior has 4, but Warrior starts with an extra. So I guess heroes in a 2-player game start with 3 HP. Or I guess, yeah, that makes sense, actually. I thought that was not a thing, but I guess it is. Okay, never mind. She has 3 HP, like all heroes do in 2-player game. 1 fewer stats on each of the things. So 0 strength, 1 agility, 3 mana. Her focus is now roll your stored die. Store a heroic die here. When you use a mana skill, you may only store 1 die at a time. So same as before, except storing only 1 die, which is how it typically works with these kinds of heroes. And instead of prep and the other one, it's divine augury. Any of the party's mana skills that have been used may now be used again. So you can double up on mana skills. Which is a little less effective for charging up focus when you can only do it once per turn instead of multiple times, but oh well. It works. And Force Bolt would probably be the one, because the other one was what? Reduce the difficulty of each armor box by 1. I mean, yeah, that's a nice one. But I really like Force Bolt. Force Bolt's a really nice skill. Alright, we are done with the 1-deck dungeon part of the stream. Stay tuned. Like not even wait for the Aeon's End part of the stream. Except I have to change the game to Aeon's End. Bam! Let's take a quick look. Make sure. Yep, that is showing up. Perfect. Fall sale. For the first time ever, Aeon's End has been discounted 20% off. Plus, you can save on a ton of your other favorite Candelabra Games titles, too. There's no time to spare. Go forth and seek great deals now through December 3rd. Every time I see the phrase go forth, I always think about this one joke I've heard that said, "Go forth," God said, "and you shall seek eternal happiness." But John called fifth and won a toaster or something. All right, which one of these would be, I guess, Gluttons. We want Gluttons because Thanksgiving is about eating, and eating is gluttony, right? All right. Oh, do I have to actually purchase this? Ow. See, I'm not actually, I never actually opened this up. So, and you're going to see that. Is this gonna, okay. Let's, turn that off for a second. I didn't realize, oh, it's actually free. Never mind, it's okay. It's a free download. I'm still going to avoid issues with seeing sensitive information on stream. This is not loading, no. It's giving me a circly thing. So, how are you doing, guys? How was your Thanksgiving? Looking forward to Christmas? How's your Black Friday? Yeah, it's, how about I do this instead of this menu? I just open up the Steam client directly. I did not realize I needed to get this set up. All right, this, that. Oh, it's probably having issues because the game is open. Maybe that's what's going on. How about we X out? So now it's quieter. I don't know where it is. Okay, there we go. Something's... It's relaunching the game? Like, basically just did it? Okay. Is it now available? It looks like it is. Okay, so now let's turn Aeon's End back on. There it is. Okay, good. Alright, so Jay. And I do know a little bit more about this than I did about Mist in One Deck Dungeon. Her spell, or thing, I never remember what this is called. Spellstorm. Activate during your main phase. Cast a prepped Vortex deck spell 3 times and then destroy it. Because she has a Vortex deck and I'm not quite sure where it actually, where information on that is. So that's a different mechanic altogether as well, but I'm just trying to see where the Vortex deck is. I know how it works, I just want to double check the specifics of it. Oh yeah, this was updated because now there's information here on durability. So that should imply that there's a Vortex deck thing in here somewhere. Game screen overview, yes. So it's gonna be somewhere. I'm sure I could look this up, and I'm sure I could just even tell you what it is. The Vortex deck is a separate deck that consists, I believe, of somewhat random cards from other libraries that only Jay could claim. So she can have 1 copy of those cards. Durability is also a new mechanic, by the way. Some cards have an additional characteristic called durability. When a card's durability is reduced to 0, the card is destroyed. The amount of remaining durability is indicated in the top left corner of the card. And there are some new cards to look through, so I'm going to do that in a second. I would doubt it would be in these things, but yeah. Icon Glossary was the last card, I know. Alright, well, we'll just see how it works in the game, but there are some new cards. I'm not sure I can just pull them all up quickly enough, but I'm sure we could see the new ones. Like, this one's definitely new because it has the durability icon. Glass Core. Gain 2 ether. You may lose 1 durability to gain an additional 1 ether. When this has 0 durability, destroy it. Back of the card looks like that. And it costs 4 ether to purchase. So it's more expensive than the standard Jade. 2 more ether to do that, but you can use it for 3 ether up to 3 times. And it can be used anywhere, unlike the Searing Ruby that can only be used to gain a spell. Here's another one. I'm guessing they're all durability ones, or the new ones. 3 durability, costs 6 ether. Relic, Staff of Wonders. Focus any player's breach twice, lose 1 durability. When this has 0 durability, destroy it and gain 2 life. So that's also recovery, which is nice. And unlike the Glass Core, That one... this one is forcing you to lose durability, so you can even only play it 3 times. So you can focus any player's breach twice, 3 times, and when this card is destroyed, you may gain 2 life. Cool. Was this a new one or an old one? I feel like it's not new, but I don't think I've ever played it myself. No, I think it is new. Or not new. I think it is old. I think it's been in there. I haven't seen it yet, which makes sense because I haven't played this game that often. I'm still relatively a newbie. All right, this is a spell with 4 durability, costs 4 ether, Lava Bolt, cast, deal 4 damage, lose 1 durability, when this is 0 durability, destroy it. So it's a very powerful spell, costs only 4 ether, so it's relatively cheap. Deals 4 damage, which is very powerful, but you can only do it 4 times. Hey, Pirate Savvy. I do feel like this one's new, though. Feral Lightning. This spell may be prepped to a closed breach without focusing it. I feel like that one's new. I don't know what's new and what's not. Yeah, that's definitely not new. I mean, like, the ones that are durability ones are definitely new. The ones that I'm not familiar with might be new, but could also just be I haven't played enough. All right, so we're going to play with Jay for surezies. And we're going to play with one other hero / mage. So, Pirate Savvy, who should I play with? Pick a mage. I'm going to ask you to do that. I'm going to hit random on the supply, though. Although I want to actually play with a durability one. So I'm going to do that. So now we have a durability one. See, Pirate, I cannot play with Druid because there is no Druid here. These aren't the Druids you're looking for. But what would you say I should play with? I know you don't know much. So just pick one. Pick one. Hey, Dover. Katie. Is that Kadir? Is a way of saying her name is Katie. She chooses Mist. Actually, that's fair. Let's take the one that's in the crossover. Yes, that makes sense. I could also play with 3 heroes, I guess. That gets a bit interesting because you get the wild card. But I'm most comfortable with 2 mage games because then each mage gets 2 turns each round when the nemesis gets 2 turns, and I don't know, it feels like it's a bit easier to manage your decks. We call her Katie as an affectionate nickname. Alright, so we're gonna play with Mist, who here's her Divine Augury from from the 2-player version. Any ally draws 4 cards, which means Jay draws 4 cards. Alright, I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick on beginner because I'm still a beginner. We're playing the Prince of Gluttons, which before we do that, so by the way, the backside is where the setup appears. The top card of each gem supply pile, starting with the most expensive, is placed face up in the pile. This pile is the Devoured pile, and I believe this was the last one I played as well. I still need to beat the Crooked Mask, but that's fine. I'm going to do Gluttony because Thanksgiving. So with 2 players, devour 3 cards from the least expensive supply pile when he unleashes. When a card is devoured, it is placed on top of the devoured pile, even if the devoured pile is empty. Cards may be gained from the top of the devoured pile as if it were a supply pile. The players may look through the devoured pile at any time. Cards in the devoured pile cannot be devoured. After I keep reading this out loud, I keep forgetting how to pronounce the word devour. Prince of Gluttons does not start a devour on an empty supply pile. When Prince of Gluttons would daver a card from a supply pile that is empty, Gravehold suffers 2 damage per card instead. Alright, so we're now going to play the Prince of Gluttons and fight. Also, I could have taken a look at my deck, or the library, I guess. So, Jade, 2 ether, gain 2 ether. Sifter's Pearl, 3 ether, gain 2 ether. Each player reveals the top card of the deck and either discards it or returns it to the top of their deck, so that you can sift through your deck. And then we have the Searing Ruby. Costs 4 ether, gain 2 ether, gain an additional ether that can only be used to gain a spell. We have a Relic. Blasting Staff costs 4 ether. You may cast a prepped spell that you prepped this turn. If you do, that spell deals 2 additional damage. We have the Staff of Wonders, costs 6 ether, 3 durability. Focus any player's breach twice, lose 1 durability. When this has 0 durability, destroy it and gain 2 life. We have the spell Amplify Vision, costs 4 ether. Focus your closed breach with the lowest focus cost, deal 2 damage. If all your breaches are opened, deal 1 additional damage. We have the spell Ignite, costs 4 ether, deal 2 damage. Any ally gains 1 charge. We have the spell Planar Insight, costs 6 ether, deal 2 damage, deal 1 additional damage for each of your opened breaches. And Arcane Nexus costs 7 ether. While prepped, once per turn during your main phase, you may return a gem you played this turn to your hand. Cast, deal 4 damage. It's a powerful spell. Not the durability one. And it has an extra effect, but it's more expensive to get, which is why it's powerful. All right, here's the Vortex deck. Can we look through the Vortex deck? Apparently not. Yes, you can. Never mind. Just click the word Vortex. Vortex deck has 7 cards in it. And it has Phoenix Flame, and Amplify Vision, and Oblivion's Swell, and Planar Insight, and Consuming Void, and Consuming Void. Which are all spells. I'm guessing that's part of the rules of the Vortex deck, is it's all spells. Actually, Planar Insight is already here. Is there 1 fewer card there? No, it's not. There's an extra one there. Cool. I like it. There's also an extra Amplify Vision. So that's cool. We have these things. And the Vortex deck, I believe, is a deck you can gain from, but only Jay can. Jay also has this Vortex Breach, in contrast with the closed breaches. It is one that can never be opened. You can only focus it. You can focus it in order to put a spell on it. And when you cast a spell on the Vortex Breach, it gets a permanent +1 to it. So your spells that you put on there will be permanently stronger each time you use it. Isn't that fun and exciting? So, we have, and her starting hand, of course, is fixed, like all other mages. The unique card, Flight, gain 1 ether that can only be used to gain cards from the Vortex deck. She has 2 of those. So I can play my gems. Get 4+1. I can gain Phoenix Flame. I can focus my Vortex Breach and put Spark on there, but kind of want to gain something. Now, the problem is when you play against the Prince of Gluttons, you don't really want to gain from the library too much because the Gluttons will eat your library. So I think we could avoid that. We should avoid that. The Vortex deck, however, is its own thing. But if I gain from the Vortex deck, I'm going to start having a deck full of spells without, like, breaches to put them in. However, I really like Amplify Vision because it focuses a breach and deals damage. So this takes care of the focusing for me. I don't actually have to pay to focus anymore. I do wonder whether it's going to count Vortex Breach for Amplify Vision. Like, is it never going to get the +1 because the 4th breach will never be opened? Who knows? We'll find out. I'm not even sure if we'll know whether it's intended or not. So I'm going to gain that. And put a Sprell there, yes. And I could have also focused this and gotten a +1 to Spark, but I'm just going to build up my deck a little bit, get some extra power here. We have a gain an ether or cast any player's prepped spell. I don't need to do that. I'm going to get you your own version of that. Just so both heroes have one copy. Both, I keep saying heroes, both mages have one. And yeah, let's do that. So I've done damage. We have damage, Prince of Gluttons. Okay. So now we have the extra spell. The Devoured Pile. I can't purchase both of those, but I can purchase a Jade and a Phoenix Flame. I could also charge this. Which is exciting. This Vortex deck has a bunch of stuff in it. And we can cast those things 3 times and destroy them. But we only have 7 spells ever. So we're not going to be able to use this, you know, a bajillion times like we would maybe use Divine Augury. I don't know. But I'm going to gain from the Devour Pile. I'll gain that spell. And I will prep that. Or, yeah, prep. That word. Alright, any player suffers 3 damage or devour 3 piles from any spell supply pile. Okay. We do have the ability to regain life in this game, so let's suffer damage. Jay suffers damage. And then you eat cards. Alright. So there's still 3 in the supply, so if you eat from that, you're fine. Gems. And I have 2 spells. And I could open and put that spell in. I could also focus this. I definitely want to put both of these spells in. My next hand is going to be 1 spell, so I don't need to open it because I'm not going to have another place to put it. So I'm going to focus this because I want to get the +1 breaches opened faster, and if you focus, it makes the subsequent costs cheaper. You're pretty sure there's rhyme and reason to what he eats and how much of it. Well, I mean, it says here, when he unleashes, he devours 3 cards from the least expensive supply pile. So that least expensive supply pile is the Jade because it costs 2. And he'll eat 3 of them, which there's 3 in the supply. So he's not going to end the game by unleashing then. If he unleashes twice, which he could do by a later card, he would then move on to the Sifter's Pearl, which is the next most expensive. And there's still 6 there, so we're safe there. Now, he does have cards that say eat from the spell that costs the cheapest or the most expensive supply pile. But generally, the unleashing is what I focus more on. Okay, so we have 4 + 1. We have a spell that focuses a breach. And I will definitely be using this spell a lot, so this is a worthy one to put into the Vortex Breach. It is expensive, though. 4 is expensive. But getting this +1? Oh, boy. You feel like he's a cheat. Just because you don't understand how he plays doesn't mean he's cheating. It's like Okay, cast any prepped spell. Don't need to do that. Okay, we have 4 ether. We have a spell. Let's just put that there because it doesn't matter if I put it in a later spot. 4 ether. We have 3 gems on top of there. You don't have a vortex deck, and you don't really want to gain anything else other than maybe a spell. Because we might as well just eat from the, or not eat, but gain from the devoured pile just to not. Because the problem is, when all, oh, I forgot to read it because it was very bottom. When all supply piles are empty except for the devoured pile, the players lose. So I don't really want to gain from the library unless I need to. So I'm just going to take 2 of those. I could have also charged, I guess. But let's take 2 of these because that will increase my spending power. Do we have... We don't have cards that can be destroyed, right? Other than the durability one. Which is annoying. I mean, also the thing that destroys vortex cards. Because card destruction will allow you to make your deck more manageable. Okay, damage. I also focused that breach, fun fact. So now I can actually put my spell there. I don't have to do anything else there. Alright, bye pirate. Bye pirate, what? See you soon, pirate, as you're going to be lurking for a bit, which means you're gone. So I should see you instead of something. Did I gain? You're the one who gained. You have to. Do I need? I don't need to keep buying those. The problem is I can't ditch my starting gems. So should I just consider getting another spell? I can purchase another Amplify Vision. Except I'm kind of happy leaving 3 in the supply because that's the perfect number for Gluttony. I could purchase an Ignite. Deal 2 damage, any ally gains 1 charge. Which, you know, this takes care of the spending on focusing. This takes care of the spending on charging, right? Oh, but I only have 3 ether. Damn it. Damn it to everything. Damn it all to hell. I'm actually just gonna focus this just to make it cheaper. Feed some of your cards. Yeah, that would make the game a lot easier if you could just focus your cards. All right, so what is that? Devour 2 cards from the second most expensive, so that 8 from the Sifter's Pearl. Any player suffers 2 damage, so let's just give that to Mist. Any player suffers 2 damage or devour 2 relics. Well, we have a new target here. Let's damage you and get a permanent +1, right? Does that say +3? Yeah, look at that, the 3. It's like someone, like, it's not in the same font. It's like, it's a very bad Photoshop, but it is stronger now. Okay, play the gems. What does that do? We have 4 + 1. So I have this Vortex spell. I could put it into Vortex Breach to increase its damage by 1, and then when I use Spell Storm, it would be 3 more +1s. I mean, it would get that +1. Well, I mean, it gets a +1 for each of its future castings, but it also, I would capitalize on it more, is what I'm saying. So I kind of want to put this in that breach, so it gets the +1 next round, and then eventually when I spell storm, it'll be amazing. So I haven't really spent. Did I not damage this? Did I screw up? I think I screwed up. I wanted to damage you. I did damage you. Oh, okay. So I didn't screw up. I haven't really paid too much attention to the order that I discard cards, because I kind of just put the crystals and sparks at the end, and I put the better cards on top. Certainly there's better strategies than just putting your best cards down first, but I don't know. Gravehold suffers damage equal to this minion's current life. Okay, that's annoying. So I noticed when I casted that it did the +1 immediately, so I will do that. To get rid of him, so I don't have to keep taking damage, and I'll damage you. Get a +1 for the Vortex deck. I don't really care about increasing Sparks damage. So I have 5 Ether. Well, 4 + 1. And... let's see, Devour Pile has 2 Sifter's Pearls on it. Yeah, let's do the spending power thing. And I can't do anything else, so I have to end my turn. Yeah, that stinks. Discard 3 cards in hand or unleash and the player suffers 4 damage. And we have 3 rounds where it's not a Nemesis turn, so I don't have to do it right away. But definitely damage you, damage you. So who could discard 3 cards in hand? I mean, I guess... Hey, John, how are you doing? Good morning, John from Japan. So, I mean, like, obviously 2 crystals can be discarded. A flight is a crystal with benefits. You would be discarding a crystal, a garnet shard, and a jade. So it's not really like... Slapped in. It's not... I think that Mist has the preferable deck here, but what would our next round look like? 2 gems and a spell and 2 crystals. So I guess Mist's next turn, she could discard the 3 very easily. So we'll do it. We'll do it that way. Do I want to cast that prep spell? I don't think there's a reason to. I mean, there's not a reason to this time. I mean, obviously there's a reason to in certain settings, but in this setting, like, it doesn't matter whether I do the damage now or if I do it during Mist's turn. Or Jay's turn, rather. So I've not done any charging yet. Did I get you an Ignite? No, Jay got the Ignite. No one got the Ignite because I couldn't afford it. That's right. So I'm going to get the Ignite, and then I have 2 Ether left over. I don't need to get gems because those are good. I could open that, but I don't need to. I should put the spell somewhere at least. Let's charge. All right, Mist's turn. All right, so that kills you. And I can discard these 3. Play the gems for no reason other than to discard it because I would otherwise keep the card in my hand. All right, and then we can damage you again. Play the gems. And I like getting the +1 on this, so let's do that. And that ends my turn. And that's gonna focus my closed breach with the lowest focus cost. Is that gonna open that? It is. Nice. That's why I like that spell. Free charging. Alright, so I can open this, and I have 3 spells, so I should do that. Which one wants the +1? I don't think it really matters, does it? Let's just do that. Like, it doesn't matter if it's all gonna go to the same person anyway. Or the Mind Guzzler, I guess. 8 plus the number of empty supply piles. Guess what? There are none! And you can be damaged for 4. And now we have a photoshopped 4 on this card now. Okay. Alright, we have 2 spells. This was already focused thanks to Amplify Vision. Play the gems. I feel like discards. That's going to replace Crystal with Flight, which is definitely better. That's going to replace Crystal with Crystal, but at least sifts through the crystals faster, right? So discard, discard. 4+1. And we could do the thing where I increase this damage by 1 again in the eventual situation where we can Spellstorm. But I also kind of want Ignite on Jay as well. I'm gonna do that. So there's still 3 copies in the deck, so that's fine. Any player suffers damage equal to this minion's current life. Oh, we have 2 rounds to not worry about that one. This is 3, this is 1. I can take you down by 3. I could do the one there. Oh, it doesn't really matter now, does it? I'm going to have wasted damage either way. Play the gems. Have a spell. Put that somewhere. I don't care for Spark's increase in damage. I mean, I guess I could. It's a +1 is a +1, but I have 6 spending power. So did I get the Ignite last round? I forgot. I did. Okay. So I have 6 I can gain from the Vortex deck, but I can't purchase 2 from the Vortex deck. I could gain that and a Jade. Which you don't have a Jade, but you do have a Sifter's Pearl. You could also purchase from something that's not a supply pile. Or something that's not the Devoured pile, because that's something. If you buy the Vortex, then you could buy a Sifter's Pearl. You could also charge, by the way. I don't know. I don't think I need another Phoenix Flame. Well, Phoenix Flame, I can lose charges to deal damage, and so I don't have to actually use up Spellstorm. Or I don't, yeah, I mean, well, that does damage and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. John's being like, why aren't you charging up Spellstorm? It's so strong. You can cast the spell 3 times right now. But I have so much on my mind right now, spending power and charging and focusing. And we have focusing taken care of with Amplify Vision. We have charging sort of taken care of with Ignite. I can also get Blasting Staff. That's another means of casting a spell that was prepped this turn. I could cast a spell that I put on Vortex Breach. How about that? How about that, John? Options. There are some. I honestly don't know. Fine, I'll do that. I'll do that. Did I want to do that? I don't think I wanted to do that. Let's hit back. The hit back? Am I back? No, I'm back. Okay. Yeah, the fancy breach. Because I have 3 ether. Gain 2 ether. Gain 2 ether. Each player reveals top pair of the deck. I don't really like getting from this library because that's... Or supply. I don't know what the... I guess it's technically supply. They call them supply piles, right? So I don't want to purchase from the supply because that's going to progress to the lost condition. I'm just going to get the jade and be boring. Okay. So what is it? What was the option I still had to do? I don't know. Okay, so any ally gains a charge, and these are onesies. So taking these guys out, there's going to be lost damage one way or another. Yeah, because the guy was only going to take 1 damage straight up. I guess I could have done Jay's other damage on that guy. That might have been a bit better, but it's too late now. I don't think I can rewind that far. Play gems. Cast a prep spell. Nah. So I do see value in Divine Augury, though. I mean, obviously I also see value in Spellstorm, but I'm not confident yet on when and how to use it. But getting your ally to draw 4 cards gives them great spending power and spell power and everything. So is this the time to do that, or do I want to purchase something else? I kind of just want to start charging. Discard 2 cards in hand that cost 4 ether or more, or unleash twice and Gravehold suffers damage. You can't do that this turn. Play the gems. Play the spell. Charge. And let's use it. Card draw. There we go. Devour a gem from the most expensive supply pile. Okay. You have 4 cards, or 2 cards in hand that do stuff. Yeah, we will need to do that. Actually, could Jay do it next turn? I wish I could see your hand a little more better than that, but that's... Yeah, we haven't purchased too many 4Zs, so it's actually not too likely that we would ever have that, but... Yeah, I guess. I wanted those spells, but I also don't want to unleash twice and have Gravehold suffer damage. Actually, would you have drawn it next time? No, you don't have... Yeah. But you still have a spell. Play the gems. You have the Garnet Shard. Jay has a Spark. This was Jay. You don't really want that Spark. This is Mist. Mist has a lot of gems. But you're still gonna have at least 1 spell, but I guess 2 spells are better, so you're gonna return that to hand. Oh, that was Jay. Oh, shoot. I had it backwards. That's okay, you have 2 spells. 2 spells is more than 1 spell. Gain an ether or cast any player's prep spell. Discard. Focus that, place it there, charge that, and then discard. And now this is gonna focus my Super Breach. Yeah! 3 ether, 3 spells. Yeah, I'm just gonna focus on charging now. We have spells I like. We have things that will focus for me. This will... I mean, lose a charge to deal 2 additional. I don't need to do that. Keep the charge. So now that's up to 4? Photoshopped 4? Yeah. Okay. I could get that charged up. But then I won't be able to put my vortex spell in there. Although it doesn't have to be in there. Actually, no. If I cast it 3 times, it gets a +1 for each cast, right? So it would turn that 2 into a 3, and then a 3 into a 4, and then a 4 into a 5. So it would do 3, 4, 5 damage. Am I right? It's gonna do 12 damage because it was each cast. So I kind of want to do it in there. But for me to be able to do it in there, I would have to... I need all the things. I have 2 spells, so I need to focus somewhere. And I can't really... Actually, no, if I focus this, and I put this in there, and I do that, then I can charge. There we go. That's something. Player with the most prepped spells discards their most expensive prepped spell. That is going to be Mist's thing. Oh, and there goes Gravehold damage. Unleash twice and Gravehold suffers 3 damage, or place the most recent nemesis thing. If I unleash twice, that is going to... It's going to be a tie between the Searing Rubies. If I put God Feeders back into play... that's your second turn, so you're not going to have a turn for 4 turns. We would be able to deal with him. It's just going to be energy that we could have spent on the Prince of Gluttons, but he's at 48. So we're not really doing good progress there anyway. We could just go for the deck exhaustion route. If we unleash twice, then we're going to consume lots of cards, which progresses us towards our last condition, and Gravehold will take damage. I kind of feel like I want God Feeders. It's not too bad, really. Okay. I lose a charge to deal 2 additional damage. Do I want to do that? That's going to get a +1, right? Not the permanent +1, but a cast +1 from this 3rd tier breach. So I could maybe do that. No. Oh, it's not opened. That's right. It wasn't opened yet. Okay. Duh. Not open. Is it worth doing that? Nah, let's do that still. Was extra damage. Gems. Now I have this annoying situation where I have 3 spells, but only 1 open breach. I could open that and put 2 spells down, or I could charge and put 1 spell down, hold 2 cards. But I'm gonna do that. So damage, play the gems, put the spark in. Like, my spells are getting gradually stronger on Jay's end, but not Mist's end. I can't afford these most expensive ones that are a little stronger. Unless I start getting from the devoured pile, but if I do that, then I'm not charging, and if I'm not charging, then Jay doesn't get more cards, and if Jay doesn't have more cards, then what are you even doing? Alright, so now we're back to ground zero. Actually, let me not take you out with that because that's wasted damage, because Jay could do it herself, because that's just one there. You don't need to. I mean, you could actually use Amplify Vision to focus this breach, but you don't need to. You have your own Amplify Vision that will happen next round. I can give Jay a lot of cards, though. There we go. Things make sense. Now Jay has a turn with 9 cards in hand. So play the gems. You'll have 1, 2, 3 plus 1. If you leave that, you're going to have the same thing, so you might as well just discard it. Except I keep looking at the wrong person. I keep thinking the left card belongs to the hero on the left. You can still discard that, though. I think it doesn't really matter. That's... yeah. Okay, 9 plus 1. Let's focus. Let's put this spell in. Let's charge twice, and then use that. Now it has a Photoshop 5. And now it has a Photoshop 6. Yeah, it does add 1 each time. Perfect. We just did a bajillion damage that round. That was definitely worth it. Even though my card's gone. Womp womp. But it still has a Photoshopped 7, which is the most important part. Alright, and then Sifter's Pearl, and then Ruby, and then that one. And now the problem is all your gems are now super close together. That's what happens when you play all the gems and discard them all at once. Alright, so that's that. 3 plus 1, 2, 1. Vortex deck. Except I don't really want a thick deck at this point. I kind of want to get to my spells more quickly. So I just want to charge and put these spells in. I could focus a breach though, but I want to... oh my gosh, 3 turns in a row. Nice. Use a charge to deal extra damage. Nah, we're going to save that for the permanent +1 a bajillion times effect. Alright, Mist is the one that's over here, by the way. And you will discard because it doesn't really make a difference other than get rid of those extra cards. Jay has that card and 4 gems and then a spell. Discard that one. 6 ether. I'm going to focus and put this spell there. I'm going to spend the remaining gem there. And I should be able to now use Spellstorm next turn. Which won't happen for a while, but it will do a lot of damage. Because it's in the perfect slot for that. Alright, that's focused, so I could put a spell there. We have these 3 spells. Let's charge that, discard. Alright, Gravehold suffers 3 damage or stuff 5 times, and he's gonna have his next turn right now. Yep. Hate it when that happens. Power 1 is the worst. So Jay has to keep her gems. So we're gonna have Mist discard 3 gems. There's another gem there. And then Gravehold suffers damage. Devour cards equal to this minion's life from 1 supply pile, then this minion suffers damage. Okay. And that's going to be, we found this out last time, that it picks the supply pile and eats from that supply pile. So if we get to Jay's next turn, are we gonna win? Because that will be 4, which increases by 1 immediately. So it's 5, 6, 7, which is 11, 18. That's enough to take out the guy. So all of this damage, might as well just go to him. Oh, also, I forgot that you were getting that charge off of that, so you could have discarded 2 gems, but that's fine. Okay, so you're only devouring 2 cards. If you unleash, you're going to devour 3. So Blasting Staff makes sense to choose from. Unleash 3 times, or... Okay. Or 1 player suffers 2 damage. 2 damage sounds so much better than eating 9 cards. But that's okay. We're not going to cast that spell because we're going to charge that. Oh, no, I have to. Oh, no! I have to because it's not open. Poop. Okay, well, that's fine. It's not ideal. We'll still be able to pull this off. It'll just take a couple more turns. We're close to victory. I can smell it. When I need to eat that. Although I would really like to also have it focused, but I need that at some point. And then I can't do anything else. Player with lowest life suffers damage equal to the number of empty supply piles. Holy crap, 16. It is a tier 3, so that makes sense. Alright. Should I deal 16 damage to the Memory Eater or 10 damage to the Prince of Gluttons? I think 10 damage makes more sense. Play the gems. And now I can do this, except it's not with stuff that's perfectly set up for this. No, I can't do this because I only have 3 plus 1. Damn it! This game sucks! Except it'll still work, right? Yeah, it's still gonna work. Yeah, there we go. Alright. We have destroyed the Prince of Gluttons. Gravehold still stands. Still stands for now. Woohoo! Alright. Now we're still on beginner because I'm a beginner, but I'm starting to get a feel for this. At least the Prince of Gluttons, I understand that game pretty well. But the corruption, that one's hard. I wanted to do this. Yeah, the Crooked Mask was the only one I haven't beaten yet. Although I've only played him once. Or maybe twice. I know that one time I played him was with a 1 mage game. And that was terrible. Love you, see you? I guess you mean love seeing me. Okay, I mean, Rageborn is pretty straightforward from what I've seen. Carapace Queen. I think I've played her once, maybe twice. And I think I won both times. Prince of Gluttons, I think I fought 3 times. Actually, we have statistics, right? I can just see this. Carapace Queen, I fought once, won once. Crooked Mask, I fought once, lost once. Prince of Gluttons, I fought 2 times, fought 5 times, lost 1 twice, lost thrice. Okay, so that makes sense why I'm so comfortable with the Prince of Gluttons. And the Rageborn, I fought twice, won twice. One of those was the tutorial fights. So I guess that means I gotta play the Carapace Queen and the Crooked Mask more. I thought I played the Carapace Queen twice, but oh well. I have played every mage. I have not won with every mage. I've only played Lash once. That seems weird. I've lost with Adelheim twice. Why do I feel like that's a terrible thing? I mean, isn't this a really powerful effect? Why did I lose with him? Why have I lost to him? Probably because it was against corruption. Crooked Mask, whatever. Yeah, the card shuffling is what made him hard. I think I beat Carapace Queen by reducing her to 0, which is counter to what John said on Handelabra Live, which was when he fights the Carapace Queen, he decks her instead of beats her, because he just focuses all the damage on the husks. But, like, I'm not going to be able to see this, will I? I wish I could see the, or maybe I can. Is it in card library that I can? No. All I want to do is see the Carapace Queen thing. Because I recognized that, like, when she has fewer husks, she does things that puts husks into play. When she has more husks, she does things that takes husks away. But yeah, it's risky because you could lose. But after a certain while, I was like, all right, as long as I'm at tier 3, I'm just going to damage the queen instead of trying to take out the husks. Because, like, the swarm at tier 0 is, like, put 3 or 4 husks into play, and then the swarm at tier 4 is take a husk away and damage Gravehold, and tier 5 is you lose, or something like that. Anyway, I am done for today. It's fine. I've won. I won both my games. Well, I lost my first one-deck dungeon game on my second encounter because I rolled a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1, and a 2, and I needed to cover a 3 armor. Anyway, thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed watching this stream. Be sure to check out the other streams on this channel. We have Handelabra Live every Tuesday with John and sometimes Jeremy, 2 of the lead developers of Handelabra products. Jeremy's technically not a developer, right? He's just the main leader of Handelabra, but so is John. But John also programs. It's weird. Handelabra is a fun little company that's based in Cleveland and Canada and Montana or something. Well, anyway, it's an amazing company, and they make great products. You should check out the Handelabra live stream for more information on Handelabra products and future endeavors such as Spirit Island. You can check out Dolphin's Dive every Friday with me, who does strategy sometimes and makes plays that make sense. And you can check out On Deck every Saturday at 8 p.m. with Pirate Savvy and Dover if you want to see plays that don't make sense. Just kidding. They're a fun little family duo. You can check out Tales from the Archive every Sunday with another letdown for some storytelling, mainly in the Sentinels department. On Deck has been focusing on one-deck dungeon and mainly one-deck dungeon, right? Because mainly it's Pirate playing Druid with Dover's guidance, but I believe they said that they're going to look more into Aeon's End, maybe? I don't remember. Be sure to check them out for some more accurate information, right? And then another letdown primarily does Sentinels, because storytelling around the Sentinels of the Multiverse universe. I play all the games except Bottom of the Ninth because I've still not gotten into it. I mean, technically I have it, but I've never played it. And I don't have an immediate interest in it because it's baseball and I don't like sports. But I have remembered, that's good English. I do remember reading somewhere that even if you don't care for baseball, it's still a fun strategy game involving dice. Which, if One Deck Dungeon is a dice game that's fun, then certainly, Bottom of the Ninth is also fun as well. But we'll find out someday in the future, maybe. But yeah, we will also check out Spirit Island once it is available for streaming and I have time to do so, which potentially next semester I actually will have time. It will be nice. Anyway, thank you for watching. I have nothing else to say. Have a good night. Oh, I guess I should say, and this is no longer the current message here, but it is, I guess, technically Black Friday sales or something, because Aeon's End is on sale 20% off for the first time ever, so get it. And then other Handelabra products are on sale. And if you want more information, go to handelabra.com or check your local Steam page vendor site thingy. All right, I'm done. Have a good night.